You'll have to bear with me for just a second. Before I do any kind of ceremony or give a talk, I always do what we know as a smudging, a blessing of the directions. It kind of clears the energy, calls in the good spirits, that kind of thing. So bear with me for just a couple of minutes here and we'll do that right quick. Hold the Pagosa. Thank you, God, Father, for this day. That you have given us. Oh, we know what God on the earth. Thank you for all that we are. Lord, you give us. Now that we have that out the way, thank you very much. I want to say that I appreciate the opportunity to be here again. I was here last year and I so enjoyed my trip and was able to work it out to come back again. And I think it's a very important time, not just in my life, but in our life as the people that we are in this world, as the human race, that we are starting to see that the colors of our skin and our heritage and cultures and the outlook of how we see the Creator, God, and how our understanding of a higher power comes into play with all things. And basically the talk that I'm going to talk about today is going along with the story that Janie read. It worked out that she was doing the same story I was doing. We're not talking to one another and giving each other a heads up about what the talk was. But it's a good thing because we know that we're on the same page and that the Creator has sent what needs to be the message today. And that's the way I understand things. There's no accidents in life. We all do the things that we're supposed to do because it has been ordained from on high. And so the message today is about the end times. If you didn't get one of these, I brought several and I've got them back there. They're free. You can have one and take it with you. It's a booklet that I put together years ago, and it's about American Indian heritage, culture, and spirituality. And it has that story that Janie read. I know it as the legend of the white buffalo calf woman. In the Lakota language, it's Techinchala Wakan Wina, which means white buffalo calf maiden. And so in this story, and it's something that wasn't in her interpretation of it from her source, but in this source, it includes a prophecy. And the end of the prophecy where she lays down and rises as a different color buffalo and walks off at the end, she turns back to the people and she says, when the white buffalo returns to the herd, you will know that it's the end times. And the people have taken that and passed it down from generation to generation because they know that she was a holy woman who came to teach them how to live with one another in harmony and balance, and how to live in a way that would be good for all humanity. I have brought, it's not a peace pipe. There are many different types of pipes that the people would use. And as if you can imagine, when she walked into the people of the circle, she was carrying a bundle much like this, wrapped in sage. And when she handed the bundle to the righteous man that she was going to hand it to, this may be something what it looked like. This is known as a medicine pipe. As Janie alluded to, I've been a sun dancer and have been part of the Lakota ceremonies for over 15 years. And being a sun dancer is a very, very powerful thing for the people to understand the sacrifice that's being done. And this pipe is used in that ceremony, and it's called a medicine pipe because we use it for healing. We use it for prayer, meditation, and introspection. And that's where all the healing comes from. It's from inside, from above. We channel that energy. And we have been told that when we use this pipe in prayer and meditation, whatever we ask for will be given to us. Not because we deserve, because we're saying a prayer, but because we have been told that we are the children of the Creator, and that He loves us and wants us to be well. And He wants us to have the things that we need to have to do the job we came to do in this world. We all came to do a job. Today I'm doing mine. And I thank you for that, for the opportunity. They had peace pipes, as the story said, which they would sit around and talk about making peace with the bluecoats. In those days there was war, and warring amongst different tribes. And so when two different tribes would get together and say, we want to make peace, they would sit and smoke a peace pipe. And that's all that pipe was used for, was for smoking when they wanted to talk about peace. There was also a hunting pipe. When they wanted to go out for a hunt, they would sit and pray that the hunt would be successful so the people would have meat to eat. There was also a war pipe, because the warriors, when they were going to go out in war, they had to sit and prepare mentally, physically, spiritually, because that may be their last day on the earth. And so they would take the war pipe and pray that they would have a safe return. So there was a social pipe, when they just got together to sit around, to have a talk, to have a laugh, and just maybe enjoy some tobacco. And they would use the social pipe. And everything had its place and had its time to use. When the white buffalo calf maiden brought the pipe to the people, she taught them how to use it, how to pray, and gave them 7 sacred sacraments, rituals to do that would keep them in harmony and balance with all things. The Sundance ceremony is one of those. The pipe ceremony is another. The sweat ceremony, which we were going to want to have one last night, the rain came and we ended up not having a sweat after all, maybe next time. But that was also a ceremony that was brought. And it was a way of keeping the body in balance and harmony by getting all the toxins and poisons out of the body and allowing you to cleanse from the inside out. And so these ceremonies were brought to the people with a hope at the end of the sentence, saying when the white buffalo comes back, there will be knowledge of that we are in the end times. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about where I have been and where I hope to be going with this that I'm doing in my life. Years ago, I was in dire straits in my life. I was on alcohol and drugs very heavily, and ended up in a way that I didn't know where I was going. I had a wife and children, one child in diapers and one on the way, and I was in dire straits, and so I had to get on bent knee, and I went out on what's known as a vision quest. The vision quest is you go out into the wilderness for 4 days without food and water, and in the 4 days that you are out there, the body begins to die and begins the dying process. And that's where your vision comes from, the vision that you're supposed to go out there and ask Creator, what is my life? What am I here for? And I made a deal with the Creator when I was out there. Get me out of the mess that I've made of my life, and I will serve you. And so from that time on, I can't say it's been an easy road, because there's times I wanted to chuck it all out the window. But my faith has been tested over the years. Today happens to be the day that 6 years ago my son had an accident and basically died. And that tested my faith. If I had not known what I know, I probably would have crawled back into a bottle and gone back on drugs. But I was understanding that we all have a time in this life. We all have something that we come to do. And he came and he did what he was supposed to have done. Many lives were changed and altered because of him. We donated his organs, and many people today are living a functional life because of his organs. A young lady in El Paso now can see because she received his corneas. It's a wonderful life. He did what he was supposed to do. And so when I came back, the struggle began to put all things in perspective, of putting it as who I was supposed to be. The Sundance came along and helped me to be rid of the drugs and alcohol that I was on. This pipe literally became the replacement for those things. In the way that I understand addictions, if you have an addiction, you have to put something in its place to get rid of it. And I had to do that, and this my road became the replacement for that addiction. Excuse me. Now, in going back to the point of my vision quest, on the third day, I was getting kind of depressed and tired because I hadn't had the vision. And I was sitting facing the west, and the sun was setting. And all of a sudden, I found myself in that vision, living in the dream. I was awake, but I was dreaming. And the vision came, and many things came out of it. And one of the things that I saw was that the end times were upon us, and many things were going to happen to change within our world. The U.S. map was going to change in a sense that California would drop off into the ocean. Oceanfront property would be somewhere close to right here where we are. The Great Lakes, because of the impact of a large meteor on the earth that caused the devastation, was going to make it shift 5 to 6 degrees, which would cause the Great Lakes to wash down and wash the cities away in that area. The Mississippi River would then become a green belt for new life to take hold. And there would be new cities that pop up that would be called golden cities, that people of like mind and consciousness would be able to come together and live in harmony and peace, and to be able to put the world back together. But we are in the time of acceleration to that point. The time, as I know, is called the quickening. As we know, we just started this year, and where are we now in August? Time has just going by so fast. And we have to understand that as time goes, it will become more and more quick and more fast for us to know that our lives are being changed. And at that point, when all these things happen, we should be realizing that our bodies are going to change. We will become ethereal bodies, more spirit than physical. We will not be consuming the physical food that we do as we do today. We will be consuming the spiritual food more, and our bodies will be more of a spiritual nature. And those things that are happening, the prophecies that we have been told, specifically the white buffalo, we've seen the buffalo born into the herd again. There's many other prophecies that have been told that are coming true, that have come true. And we know that it's a time for us to prepare to be ready for this. And I think it's maybe not, if it's not in our lifetime, it may be in our children's lifetime. But I think the point is, if it doesn't come at all, we should live our lives in a way that we say, today is the last day of my life, and what would I want to do on the last day of my life? I would definitely want to be with family. with loved ones, take care of people that I love, be with them and help them. I would also like to see that the people that are in darkness, walking their life in darkness, would have an opportunity to see the light at the end of the tunnel. One of the things that I know is that if someone doesn't ask me, I don't give out this information. I don't cast my pearls before the swine, because someone can take it and trample it and make it less than. But when the door is open for me, I step through and I do what my job is, to bring that light into their life and to let them know that there is a better way to live. There's a better way of consciousness, of awareness, of balance and harmony with all things in all relations. This is what I would hope for all of us. And this is what my job is. But I don't give it out just to everyone. Many people don't know me as Chief Lewis, they just know Lewis. In the inner circle, there are those that know who I am and what I do. But out there in the world, if I'm not moved to give this information, and I really trust my intuition a lot, and if I'm not moved to give the information, I won't give someone the opportunity to trample on it. And so with this story of the White Buffalo Calf Maiden, and the things that I know, and you know, Edgar Cayce and Nostradamus have given us many things to think about, and all the things that they have talked about, that they have come true. We have to realize that we are in the end times. Whether that means that the world comes to an end or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is how we live our life in those times. Live it today as if it's your last. You are a pebble that is tossed into a pond. And that pond has the ripple of your being tossed into it. And the ripple goes out, and it comes back, and it goes out, and it comes back, and eventually becomes calm again. But the ripple has moved many, many things along the way to where they need to be. So when you are out in the world and you see those people that are walking in the darkness, be that pebble. Toss yourself into that pond and let your ripple move that person to where they need to be. One word of kindness may change a person's life for the greater good. And that person may be a one who touches hundreds of lives. We don't know what's in store for that person. Just as an example, my wife and I, on occasion, see someone who is on the street corner asking for donations. They are asking for money. And the question always arises, well, what if they use it for alcohol? I said, well, I understand that side of the question. But the question is, why did you give the money in the first place? Is it because you have within you the goodness to give it? You have the means to give it. And what if that person needs just one more day on alcohol to chuck it all out the window, just like I did? I had to have one more day of alcohol, one more day of drugs, in order to get to the day where I finally said, I'm tired of this. And then stand up here and talk to you about this. So there's two sides to every story. And when you talk to those people and you're giving from your heart, don't think about what they're going to do with it. Because that's not up to you, it's up to God. Give from your heart when you are able to. You will be blessed tenfold. That I know. It's a fact. I've seen it time and time again. You know, when these things happen in the end times, and the devastation that I saw in that vision, it took me a while to realize what it was that I was seeing. But I know that Mother Earth has to go through this upheaval to cleanse herself of all the bad things that we have put into her. and given her the nuclear waste, the waste that's running down the Animas River. All those other things that we do to the world. She's our mother. We wouldn't do that to our real physical mother, would we? We are a part of Mother Earth. In my prayer today, doing the smudging, when I went down, I said, thank you, Mother Earth, for all that you give us and for all that we are. Because we are what Mother Earth is. We contain the same elements. Take care of Mother Earth and respect her. In the back of this book, and this is going to be the closing, in the back of this book, I have a very wonderful lady who is my mentor. Her name is Ervilina Gae, which means goes across woman. And her father taught her all the things that she needed to know before she got off the reservation. And she never understood why her name was Goes Across Woman. But later in life, she did realize what it was. When you look at her, she looks completely Caucasian, white. You can't tell she's Apache. She just didn't come out looking Apache. And she says, the goes across part is what my father taught me, now I can take it across to others that won't feel threatened by the way I look, but they will hear my words. And so Goes Across Woman gave me 4 laws to live by. And I always like to say this to the people that I speak with. Because if we did these 4 things, our lives and the lives of the people around us would be so much better. Is take care of Mother Earth. I touched on that. That we consider the world on which we live to be our mother, because she gives us everything that we are and everything that we have. They're not making new real estate. They may try to go to Mars, but it's not Earth. Okay? And take care of your brothers and sisters. It's not just your brothers and sisters who are related to you by blood. It's the brothers and sisters that you see out there, like that one on the street corner asking for money. Take care of them. It's our responsibility. The Creator created them as He created you. And we all belong to the human race. Just as a side note, we were at a celebration one time, and this young woman came up to me and she said, can I join y'all? We were going to do a ceremony like this. And I said, sure. She says, well, I'm not a part of y'all, but I'd like to, be a part of this ceremony. I said, what do you mean you're not a part of us? She said, well, I'm not Indian. I said, that's okay. We're all one people. We're all human. We all have a belly button. Came from my mother. If you don't have a belly button, I want to see that. And then take only what you need in life, so that others might have. If you take and take and take and have a greed, others are going to do without. And that's out of balance. And the last and most important of all these is take care of yourself so that you can do the other 3. And that concludes today. I'll open it up for questions and answers if you so choose to ask a question. If I know it, I'll answer it, and if I don't, I'll tell you, I don't know, I'll find out, and I'll get back to you. Yes, sir.
Chief, would you tell us about the Sundance? I've had friends that have done
Yes.
About what?
The question is, would I speak a little bit about the Sundance? The Sundance is a ceremony, it's a ritual ceremony that entails the self-sacrifice of the flesh. When a Sundancer, particularly myself, I had a vision, a dream-like state, where I saw myself hanging off of a rope in the tree, and I had one piercing peg. Piercing peg would look much like this, made out of bone or out of wood, and they take it and they put your skin together, cut an incision with a scalpel, and drive the peg through to the other side. Tie a harness onto it on both sides, and you tie it to the tree. When I saw myself, I saw one of them already busted loose and the other one was hanging on. And I didn't understand what it was, but I had elders that were able to help me discern what it was. And that sacrifice lasts for 4 days. You go in and you dance from sun up to sundown for 4 days. You're praying for family, for friends and relatives, the world. The Lakota people believe that the sun dance is the beginning of a new year. And that's their new year. And so at the end of the sun dance ceremony, we say Happy New Year to one another. But it's a sacrifice that's one making for the loved ones. And we believe that this piece of flesh that's coming off of us is the only thing we got that God gave us. Everything else is man-made. Clothes we wear, everything else. This was given to us by Creator. We take that little piece of flesh and wrap it up in a cloth, and we put it on that tree as a symbol of the offering for our prayer. It's grueling. 4 days without food, without water. You dance from sun up to sundown in 96, 98, 100, 102 degree weather. Sometimes we had to dance in 35-degree weather. Drizzling, cold. But you're out there and you're making a sacrifice for your people. And that's one of the things that I always try to remind those, why are you here? They want to give up. I said, no, you're not going to give up, because you came here under your own volition. You were called to this, just as I was called to it. I had the vision. Not just anyone goes and says, I want to be a sun dancer. They're called to this. It's a calling, and we answer it, and we give a sacrifice of our flesh for our people.
Thank you. I always wondered, I was told that your body can't go more than 3 days without water. You can go a long time without food. But you guys go 4 days without ceremony. So that's amazing. I mean, just to survive.
At the end of the day, because many of us over the years, when we get older, are predisposed to diabetes, they do allow us to have Gatorade to put some of the electrolytes back in the body, to be able to have some type of balance, to be able to go the next day. Particularly myself, I would eat mandarin oranges at the end of the day to help put those ingredients back in the body. But 4 days without water, you can't even touch the water. It's a no-no. But it can be done. It has been done for hundreds of years. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I remember seeing, it must have been 2 or 3 years ago, about a white buffalo calf that was born. Was it around Yellowstone? Or I remember seeing that.
Yes, there was, and in fact, that buffalo was called Miracle, and that buffalo grew and had buffaloes of its own that were born white, and as they grew older, the first one was the hair turned red, which of course is one of the directions, the colors of the direction. The next one was born and it turned black, which is the color of the direction. And then the other one turned a yellowish color, which is also one of the directions. So we know that Miracle had miracles of her own. Yes. And there was others, not just that one. There's been several. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.